about 10,000 feet. Kenneyack was very, very inadequate. And they probably could never get up that high anyway to 10,000. Very, very lousy yak. Anyway, we were flying along and we didn't get a shell right underneath of us. They killed the pilot outright. And we were in a carrier-based plane where I was observer taking pictures, believe it or not. Again, aerial pictures, stills, not movies, stills, of the fortifications around there. Also where they were building bridges, the railroad bridges and everything, and where all the tunnels were. And it killed the pilot outright, and the plane nose down. Over 10,000 feet, and I had to go through about, I'd say at least 10 feet of all kinds of electrical equipment to get to the pilot. Finally, I managed to reach through, pull the stick back. We had two guys that were alongside of us, watch this, yelling at us, "Hey, pull that thing up." We're so close to hitting the water that the prop was actually picking up water. We finally started. And then I couldn't get to the guys still. The plane went up, stalled, and started down again. So we finally managed to ditch the plane. I managed to get up there good enough, or we ditched it, got out, got dinghies.
But you took over the controls of the plane?
Yeah.
Luckily you knew how to, luckily you were a pilot. You knew how to fly.
Yeah. And so we finally get down to drink. The thing's just about a gas, but it flew like a quart. Must have floated for, a good half hour anyway before it finally sunk. Anyway, getting this dinghy onshore breeze. So we're paddling like heck, and we're gradually getting closer to the shore. We're saying plink, plink, plink all around us. They were gradually, getting our range with just rifles. If they would have had something bigger, they would have had us. Anyway, they called in a strike and killed up most of the guys along the beach, and got an amphibian and got us out of there. But oh boy. The pilot, he went down with the plane. Us three guys were in the back, managed to get out. Two of us were in the back. Yeah, two of us. But, that was quite an experience.
How about the, I know one more story that you told me in the past, and it's the story of you were on a ship, and you were on the mast, and you knew the rope was going to break, and you had to jump off the ship.
Oh. The story goes back a little further than that. Boy, remember I was a combat photographer, and what we used to do, we used to come back to the ship. It was more or less our base of operations to an aircraft carrier. Generally, it was the Boxer. And it was one of the medium size. It was only 887 feet long. The big ones were over 1,000. Anyway, I was pretty salty. And they had a squadron was having a hard time of landing the first jets that came out to the fleet. And had a hard time. You could stall them real easy. So they were stalling right under the deck and really flopping all over the place, killing most of the pilots. So they wanted me to go up there, aerology, which is way up in the mast, up on the island of the carrier. I guess that's what you call it. Main part went up from the deck. And take pictures showing how these guys were goofing off in their approach. Well, I went by this one Lieutenant JG, just out of school, at officer school. And he looks at me, he says, "Sailor, square your hat." I said, "I don't even have a hat with me." So he gave me a hard time, so I gave him a haymaker. So two jarheads came up, that's two Marines. One to either side, down the brig I go. So I got before the old man, and I explained my case to him. So he says, "Get up there and do your job," and he told the engine to buzz off for a while. So I didn't have to spend any more time in the brig, it was just a little while. So finally, I get out of that, and I got broke again and went back in the brig. I forget what it was for now.
Wasn't it? You went in the water? You
Yeah,
fell in the
this
water?
This is while I was in the brig.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was in the brig while we were out in Yokosuka Bay, which they call Yokosuka. We couldn't get into harbor because there's too many ships in there, and we had over 33 feet draft, so it had to be pretty deep. There wasn't that many spots in there where they had that much draft. Say, well, we were anchored out, and I was in the brig again. And they asked me, "Hey, how'd you like to get out for?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm your man." So up on the top of the island is the number. 21 was the number of the Boxer. I said, "We need it cleaned." So do you mind go up there and do it? I says, "Yeah, how do I do it?" So they put me in a boatswain's chair. It's nothing more than a swing. A big old rope. Put me up there. They're good. Well, at least 70 feet above the water. So I was up there having a good time, going back and forth, clean the old thing there, whistling, having a good time. Felt the boatswain's chair going zoom, 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 like that. And I looked down there. I could see where the lines gradually unraveling from the cotton picking railing along there. So finally down I go, and I managed to kick loose of the boatswain's chair so I didn't get wrapped up in the line and drown myself. I swim around the front of the carrier, because I'm on the wrong side where the gangways are. We always have two gangways, one for the officers, one for the enlisted man. So naturally I'm a enlisted man. So I swim around. The first ladder I come to is the officer's ladder. And man, I'm not going back another couple hundred feet. I take Susan up. So I come up, drink and what? Who's the officer today at the town ladder? The same guy I gave a haymaker to. He gives me a hard time, but I let him have it again.
He wanted you to get back in the water, right?
Yeah, he told me to get in the water and go down the other ladder. I give another haymaker, baby. So Kearney.
And weren't there like jellyfish?
Gurney, G-U-R-N-E-Y, was the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
We were really good friends. Every time he had a little bit of a party, he always told me, "Hey, I need you." Because if I couldn't take pictures, I could be the bartender. Anyway, went before old Gurney. He says, "What'd you do this time?" I explained it to you. He says, "Is that right?" Talking to the lieutenant. The guy says, "Yeah." 3 days later, they transferred him, and I stayed there. This is what you know. It's who you know, baby.
No, I'm going to ask you one more thing about war. Maybe you tell me a story that, I don't know when it was, but you were in a barracks, and people would, your other soldiers would try to get to know you, asking your name, and I think you gave one of those guys a haymaker just because you didn't.
Yeah, well, we had so much turnover.
Yep.
So many guys got hurt or killed. As being combat photographers, I didn't want to know their names. That's the reason I started calling them, I don't know what you call them, not slur names. Players that make up a name for the guy. Like my name was Pennsylvania Pete. And anyway, when somebody gave me the right name, I often built them. I don't want to know your name. And something else. The 113, or the 13 of us came back from the 111. I'm the sole survivor out of the 13. We used to have reunions. No more. Unless I want to go to a reunion myself. But anyway, that was that.